Hey there, Richard Matheru here. Now, if you're a fellow network marketer and you've ever reached that point in a conversation where you're like, it seems to be going well, you think you're going to sign them up, and then all of a sudden they either just completely ignore your messages or their interest takes a nosedive or a U-turn, and you're like, what on earth did I do wrong? I used to get that situation like a heck of a lot. There was only two problems, me and my approach, right? This will help you with your approach. Ray Higdon taught me this in a bar, but it's true, it's a true story, and I want to give you that in a second. It will definitely help you recruit more team members. Before I get into that, I want to mention something before I forget. If you use Facebook to recruit, while I was away in London in the weekend, I looked at my back office. We just passed $4,500 in commissions, $4.5 in commissions from a brand new network marketing team that I built in less than 8 weeks. If I'm honest, I put about 2 weeks of work into that, sponsored a handful of people, but they've duplicated like crazy. People getting their first results, increased results. Now I know it works, I want to teach you, because this was a completely brand new strategy I'd never used before. I didn't use my existing network or any experience. It was from scratch. So if $4,500 in the next 8 weeks would make a difference to you, or you just want to learn this to give your team a new option, definitely register for the webinar. You'll see information beneath this video, either the top line of the description or a button or something. So definitely register and I'll see you in that webinar. Okay, so let me give you this tip right now about managing the energy in a conversation. Let me set the scene and explain this. So my buddy Ray Higdon, he was over from the US in our hometown with his wife Jessica, staying around the corner from where we live. We were kind of showing them around. We were doing a little bit of business as well, so we had a appointment with a friend of mine. He owned a real estate business. He owned a nightclub, well connected. I said it'd be great if we could get a meeting with him, and so we did. So we're talking to him about signing up into our team. Things are going well. John Paul, his name was. He said, hey, sign me up. Fantastic. Get the paperwork out. And I see his kind of face change. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go, right? You know what I mean? Like you see their face, you're like, oh, man. He says, oh, I don't have my card details. I've brought some money for a drink or two, but I haven't got my card. I'm like, who doesn't carry their card? I'm like, well, most people know their details. Let's just fill it in. I don't know my details. Well, you only live around the corner. Let me call you in 5 minutes and fill them in. I'm not going straight home. So we kind of went back and forth, and in retrospect, I was a little bit pushy, a lot pushy. And then he leaves. He says, tomorrow morning, call me and we'll do it then. When he leaves, Ray says, you kind of messed that up, Richard. You didn't manage the energy. I was like, well, what do you mean? He said, if someone takes a step back, you should take an even bigger step back. You should actually open the door for them. You really don't want to establish yourself as like another boss or a pushy salesman. No one's ever said they like either of those, right? Oh, I really like a pushy boss or a pushy salesman or pushy anything. He said, so if John Paul said to me, I don't have my card details, I would have said, and here's something to commit to memory. Hey, it's absolutely fine. Just so you know, if you have forgot your card details, just let me know when we can call you. We'll fill that in, no problem. But if you have changed your mind and you're looking for a polite way to say no, you can absolutely let me know. That's no big deal. We can just grab another drink, forget this whole thing. We're still friends, right? Now, when you do that, he said, the worst case scenario is you save a bunch of time, right? The person says, yeah, actually, I don't want to join, and they don't. But you've left the door open for the future. Instead of it being a no and I'm going to ignore your calls because you're pushy, it's a no, not right now. They're still happy to send you referrals because they know you look after them. They're still happy to talk about it in the future because, again, it wasn't an unpleasant experience. And even better, because they now know there's no pressure, you can say, I'm just curious. What is it that changed your mind? What is it that didn't have you saying yes? And they'll give you some really great information you should listen to right there. Because often it's something you're doing. Like if you get 5 people in a row and you ask them this question and they say, because I don't feel like I have the time, and you go, hang on a minute, these are all different people with different schedules all saying the same thing. You should perhaps consider it something you're saying that's making them feel like this is a time, a lot of time involved to invest in being successful. Maybe you could do a practice presentation with your upline or a team member and record it. And listen and hear, maybe it's something you're saying. Maybe you could go back to the people that told you no that you were most surprised about. Can you think of any of those? Go back to them and say, hey, I'm not trying to sign you up. I know it's off the table. Just forget all about it. But what would really help me is to know why you didn't. What happened? It seemed to be going well. And you can use that information to improve your approach and not repeat the same mistakes. And if they do say, yeah, I don't want to join, saved you a whole bunch of time. You can move on to the next person, right? And often they'll even say, oh, no, I do want to join. Yeah, I absolutely do. But now they feel even better about it. There's no pressure, no resistance. You decrease the resistance instead of increasing it. That's a conversation that Ray and I had at that bar at that time. And it was a valuable lesson. So give it a try. Go back to those people who told you no and you were surprised at them. Ask them why. Always adopt this approach. If someone tries to kind of like change their face or their energy or their interest, adopt this approach. Open the door wide for them. And if you do use Facebook or you're open to using Facebook, a free strategy to build a 4,500 check in the next 8 weeks, follow this blueprint that I'll give you in this webinar. Register by clicking the link in the text or the button below, and I'll see you over there as well. So go create a day in a life that counts. Always have more desires than excuses. I hope you got some value from this video, and I'll catch up with you on that webinar really soon. Bye for now.